Hey everyone, Pharmacist Ben here. I want to talk today a little bit about cancer. Obviously a horrific diagnosis. Can't think of anything worse that could happen to somebody than to hear the doctor say, "I'm sorry, Claire, it's cancer. It's stage 4 cancer." That's a commercial that you see on TV. And when the doctor speaks to this poor woman, Claire, and says, "I'm sorry, Claire, it seems to be stage 4 cancer," all of a sudden the world goes silent for Claire, and she doesn't even hear the doctor. And I can imagine that must be what people feel when they get this diagnosis. But here's the thing about cancer. Number one, cancer is not an inevitable illness. That's the most important thing. It's not in your genes. You're not condemned to have cancer. I know there are people who will have their body parts hacked off as a preventative, hysterectomies and having mastectomies, partial mastectomies, radical mastectomies, in order to prevent cancer, is really the end result of a misunderstanding about what this disease really is. Cancer of the breast or cancer of the pancreas is really not cancer of the breast or cancer of the pancreas, or for that matter, cancer of the bone or cancer of the liver or cancer of the brain or cancer of anything else. Cancer, like all diseases, is a cellular phenomena. It's based in the cell. Cancer is the end result of a cell that is at its wit's end. It doesn't know what else to do, so it becomes cancerous. So let's break this thing down a little bit in a biological sense, which we really have to do if we're going to understand, number one, what the disease is, and number two, how to prevent the disease, and number three, if you have the disease, how to reverse it. All right? And while I'm on the subject of reversal, there's never going to be a cure for cancer. Anybody who talks that way doesn't understand the biology and the biochemistry of what's really happening. Cancer is not something to cure any more than aging is something to cure. Cancer is the end result of various biochemical, physiological, biological phenomena. It's basically the end result of a cell that has been starved, suffocated, and toxified for so long that it now reverts back to an old way of being. See, cells have been around for 3.5 billion years. That's billion with a B. That's a long time. And the first cells were not fully developed cells. They were protocells. In fact, they're called prokaryotes. Karyote meaning cell. About maybe 500,000 years after the first prokaryotes, actually maybe probably more, I think it was a couple billion years after the first prokaryotes, a very interesting event occurred. There was a merging of two types of primitive cells, bacterial cells and a cell called archaea, or a cell type called archaea. And these two very different kinds of cells, different kinds of forms of life, really, not just cells, but forms of life, kingdoms, the bacterial kingdom and the archaeal kingdom, a representative of one and a representative of the other, merged, and bacteria all of a sudden developed a skill set that allowed them to become very advanced. They developed a skill set involving how they utilize energy. And the prokaryotes gradually became today's animal cell and plant cell, which we call eukaryotes, eukaryotes. Now here's the thing about the eukaryotes. I'm going to take a little break here. I'll be right back.